Donna from Denelli's Chic Handmade, and welcome back. Today we're going to be working on this really super cute scarf. It's similar to the puppy scarf I made, but this will be for an adult, so you and your dog can have the same scarf. What's really great about it is it's all one piece. There's no crochet, and you just slip the pom-pom into the loop and it goes around your neck, and it's very, very cute. So today I'm going to be using this really yummy yarn. It's called Premier Spun Colors, and it works absolutely wonderful on my machine. This color is called Poppy, and I'll put a link to it below if you'd like to get the same color or similar. This the scarf that I did make was made with that with the same yarn, and you could see how gorgeous it is with all the different shading and the striping. I'll also be using a large pom-pom maker, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I have my main color, and I'm going to go ahead and start casting on. I'm going to put my yarn around the first black stitch. I'm going to slowly feed this under every other hook. And it just goes back and forth under every other hook. And this is how you start all of your projects. Like I said, this yarn works really good. I don't know if it's a little bit on the thinner side, but it does work wonderfully. I'm going to put my counter on 0. And for the first few rows, I'm going to watch it. Make sure that none of the stitches come off of the hooks. And I'm going to continue on like this for 140 rows. So I'll meet you when I get to the end of the 140 rows. Thank you. As you're working on your project, if you don't have a hole in the center of a table, you can go ahead and roll this up. This way it won't jam up at the bottom. And just keep rolling it as you work. I'm now on row 137. I'm almost to the end of the 140. And you can see the colors are actually really, really gorgeous. It's 139. And we're gonna go to 140. I'm gonna cut a little bit of a long tail because that's what we're gonna use to sew up the one end. And I'm purposely not gonna be using a crochet hook because I know some people are not comfortable with crochet. So this is all strictly gonna be the knitting and sewing, and you're gonna like that. So I'm gonna put in a little bit of waste yarn so that I can see my stitches when I sew them together. Just gonna put this here. I'm just gonna do a couple of rows. Actually, no, I'm gonna do about 5 rows of waste yarn. And I'm using a contrasting color so that I could see the stitches. They'll be framed by the pink. So as I'm putting on my contrasting waste yarn, and what's good about it, it'll frame the stitches so that we'll be able to sew them together. We'll be able to easily see the last row. And again, I'm doing about 5 rows of waste yarn. And this is my last row. Just gonna cut, roll this up. I'm just gonna hold this on the bottom and slowly turn this so that all the stitches will just naturally fall off. And I'm holding the bottom because I don't want anything to pull, because this first row can get easily, unraveled. So just spinning it around so it comes off and making sure that it doesn't fall and cause anything to pull. There we go. not unraveling, I'm unrolling my project. And as you can see, the colors are really, really pretty. Nice rich colors. Look at that. Looks really nice. Nice striping. So now the opposite side where there's no waste yarn, I'm going to cinch this side up. Find my yarn and I'm going to pull. And this is the side where the pom-pom is going to go. So just kind of keep cinching. Now with this yarn, you have to be a little bit careful because it can easily break. So just nice and gentle, just pull. Get your darning needle. And we'll just close up this end. Okay, it's nice, easy. Again, don't pull too hard because you don't want the yarn to break, because it will break if you pull too hard. Okay. And this is the end with the pom-pom. We're just closing it up. And we'll put the pom-pom on in a few minutes after we make it. And again, this pattern doesn't use any crochet, so you're gonna like that. So I'm just gonna leave a little bit of a long piece just in case you need it to add the pom-pom. Now on the opposite side, I'm just gonna line these up together. And I'm going to take my long thread or yarn that I have. I'm gonna go ahead and thread my darning needle. And I'm just gonna pick up each of these stitches here. Just gonna sew it together. Again, just pick it up, pick up the opposite one. Now there are other ways to close this. A lot of times I will use a crochet hook, but I'm trying to, for this project, I'm not gonna use a crochet hook because I know some people are not comfortable with the crochet hook, and this will just be strictly knitting and sewing. And I'm just picking up each of the stitches across from each other. And you can see how easy it is. You can totally see the stitches that are framed with the waste yarn. I'm going to keep picking up each of these stitches, and I will meet you when I get to the end. Now I've sewn up the end, so you can see it's all seamed together. I'm just going to pull my waste yarn off. And I have a little bit stuck here, so let me just cut. And I'm going to just keep pulling. See how easy it comes out. The last row, you could just kind of feel it. And here we go. I get all tangled up with myself here. Just cut this to be a little bit faster. And we'll just cut this part off here. Get rid of this waste yarn. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is just stretch your work. I'm gonna use my measuring tape. I'm gonna measure about 5 inches in, so here, this will be our pocket where the pom-pom goes in. Just a little bit more, so about 5 inches there. And now again, you still have a long tail. Just gonna go and sew this back part. Just pick up the first layer. This is a 2-ply, so you just want to pick up the first layer. One of my loops wanted to come out. There. just keep picking it up all the way down. And it's 5 inches. Just going to keep doing this till I get to the end, and then we'll start working on the pom-pom. So when you get to the end of sewing it up, you can just tuck your thread in between the layers, and no one will even know that it's there. There. Just to give you an idea. Here we go. Whoops, it's the wrong way. This is the pocket, and this is where the pom-pom end will go through. So let's go ahead and work on the pom-pom so that we can see how this looks when it's finished. I'll put this over here. Now this is an extra large Clover pom-pom maker, and I'll put a link to it below. This is really great. It makes these nice oversized pom-poms. So in order to make this particular size that I made on my other project, this is going to take a little bit of time. So you open up your one end, because this comes in a couple of pieces. Put it together. So you open up the one end. Okay. And then you just take and you start winding this around. We're going to wind 300 times. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now you get the gist. I'm going to keep going around for another 270 rows, and then I'll show you what we do with the other side. I did 300 rows, wrapped it 300 times around the one side of the pom-pom maker, and I cut it. I'm just going to close it. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the opposite side. And I'm going to wrap this side up 300 times, and I'll meet you when I'm down to that end. The other end is completed. Now I'm just going to put these together. You can see. Now I'm going to take a nice sharp pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut the center right in between here. Just cut, cut, cut. Okay. Go to the other side and cut the center. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to get a nice, I'm not going to use the same yarn to tie it together because that yarn will split. So I'm just going to get a separate piece of worsted weight yarn. Just going to put the yarn in the center of the two here. And this, tie it nice and tight. I'm going to tie it again. Nice and tight. Okay. And then I'm just going to open these. One side's open. Open up the other side. I'm just going to take these apart. And there we have. I'm just going to tie it one more time. Make sure it's secure. And one final time. There. Give it a good little shake. See if there's any little odd hairs that are strands that are a little bit longer than the others, and that will happen. And just give it a little trim. And usually you want to do this like over a garbage can because little fuzzies can get everywhere. Just trim it up. Look how pretty that is. Look at all the colors. Just picked up all the colors of the scarf. And this one's not giving me. Okay, so you can see. Again, give it a nice little shake. Now here, I'm going to be adding this here. Now what I probably should have done to make it a little bit easier for myself is I probably shouldn't have closed up the other end. It would have been easier to stick my hand through the tube and then pull the pom-pom through. But I'm just going to do it this way. This will be just the same. I'm just going to do this. And there goes my clock. And put this through here. Okay. Now what I can do is, so that I have these in the same, I can kind of slip this through where the other one is coming out, there. Okay, and then just tie it up. Nice and tight, a couple times. Tuck my strings in through the center. Pull this through. Here's another long one that we have. That was from when I cinched it up. Just pull this through. Trim these back. Give my pom-pom a shake. There's another little long piece here. There. And here you have the scarf with the pocket for the pom-pom. Just slip it through. There you go. Isn't that so pretty? Look at the colors on this. They're absolutely lovely and rich. So I want to thank you again. Thank you for joining and for continuing to support me in my videos. I will be making more items, and please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for everything. Have a wonderful day.